Well, welcome back to the Hot Seat. Delighted today to be speaking to Simon Sharrott, Director and Investment Manager at Ravenscroft here in Guernsey. Simon, good to see you.
David, delighted to be here. It's nice to be able to be back in person doing these sort of events post a strange couple of years.
Fantastic. So last time I saw you, you were part of the Milton Optimal business.
Yeah.
And since then, the Ravenscroft Group has acquired the business. You've been integrated. Perhaps tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a whirlwind for our business here in Guernsey and also the Milton Optimal Group. Yeah. So after, just to give you a bit of a background to why the acquisition took place here, after a sort of a decade of organic and acquisitional growth for the Milton Optimal Group, in late 2020, our founder, shareholder, unfortunately passed away and got ill. He got ill and then passed away in early 2021. At that point, the holding company board decided to dispose of the regulatory subsidiary boards, at which point we had Guernsey, Jersey, UK, and South Africa. I'm obviously based in the Guernsey office, but was Group CEO during that process. And I'm delighted that we managed to find Ravenscroft as the acquirers for a number of different reasons.
So tell us a little bit more about the Ravenscroft offer. There's lots of different components to it that sound very interesting.
Yeah, so we feel not only for our clients that we're taking over to Ravenscroft in the investment management business, we feel that it's a good fit for them. It's a good fit for us personally as staff. From a cultural perspective, it's been an excellent fit. It's a bigger business than ours. So there's now just over £8.5 billion under management for Ravenscroft. So a decent size, but a small sort of employee base of 140 people across 5 offices across 4 jurisdictions. So here, Jersey, Isle of Man, and two smaller offices in the UK. So from that perspective, it feels very much like a similar type of business base as the Milton Optimal, but obviously a much broader service offering, and not only just investment management from discretionary asset service solutions through to their fund range and specialist fund range, but they've got different pillars. So they offer an execution only broker, stockbroking, traditional stockbroking service, which the business was founded on when John Ravenscroft set it up in 2005. They've got a precious metals desk, so if clients, high net worths, intermediaries, IFAs, trustees want to and have clients that have a desire to trade physical metals such as gold, silver, platinum and palladium, then we can do so via our desk here. And actually, interestingly enough, we've got our own vault here in Guernsey. I'm not going to tell you where it is for obvious reasons, but if clients want to come and feel it and touch it and see it, which is sometimes the lure to wanting to own precious metals, then we can do so and facilitate that option for them. We've also got a cash management desk. So Ravenscroft bought the Royal London Guernsey operation. They run just over £2 billion of sterling under management here in Guernsey. Also sort of offering a short-term cash solution for people and institutions, sovereign wealth funds who have a massive cash. They don't want to fix it for long duration. And actually during this time where interest rates have been at zero for such a long period of time, or declining rate to zero, we're now going through a turbulent time within the bond market due to the central banks, certainly in the Western world, increasing their rates, and the rates are going up. So actually from a cash perspective, the rates now are looking very attractive. So I'm just speaking to the chaps on the desk before I came out here to have a chat to you, David, and they're now for a 1-year term deposit, and these aren't fixed deposits, these are CDs, so short-term UK-backed gilts in effect, sort of 1 to 2 years. Clients can now get up to nearly 5% return on that with very, very short duration, so less sensitive to the interest rate risk environment that we find ourselves in today.
And people do still want that element of liquidity, such that in a year's time things are changed.
It's an important point, that actually, David, because it's not only about they can get their cash at the end of the term, but because they're effectively UK gilts, there's a secondary market. So if a client really needed to trade out of the contract during the term, then our guys can go into the market, find liquidity for that, and return the cash to the client. So it's not like having a fixed deposit where you're going to get penalised. They will be able to find a price in the market and return the cash as necessary.
And there must be a pickup of interest in physical commodities, gold, precious metals, because in these uncertain times, investors flock to such assets, don't they?
They do, and we've certainly seeing a heightened sort of interest in that desk and the trading activity. I think the issue that you've got at this moment in time in terms of people wanting to trade gold, specifically gold, is that the dollar is so strong, and when the dollar's strong, it's a bit of a headwind for the gold price. Less so in sterling and euros because there's a bit of a tailwind there. But if you're buying the physical, it can be a little bit of a challenge. But as you say, it's a safe haven asset. We have a vault here in Guernsey. Obviously, can't tell you where it is, as I said before. But if clients wanted to come and trade it, they can do, and come and see it and feel it and touch it and have that sort of experience, then we're more than happy to facilitate those services.
Anything on the crypto front, or do you leave that to other platforms and brokers?
Yeah, we leave that to the specialists. We don't get involved in any of that in terms of the advice side. But obviously, if a client wants to trade a crypto via execution-only desk, via an ETF or whatever it may be, then we can facilitate that. But we're not in the game of providing advice within the crypto space.
And what kind of mandates do you pick up in the fiduciary market? What might be a typical sort of thing you'd go out and pitch for and be successful with?
Yeah, so I think in terms of, look, we can offer anything from 5,000 up to 50, 60 million of in terms of a seg mandate portfolio. I think the sweet spot for us is somewhere between a 5 and 25 million pound portfolio. I think we can do a decent job there. We're not a Goldman Sachs or a JP Morgan, and it's more about the relationships and building out the trust. And obviously within the markets here in Guernsey, we're very well known, and we're getting more well known in Jersey as well. And we've built a presence there. Our office is now about 20 people, and we're trying to do the same in all the jurisdictions. We're not trying to differentiate ourselves from what we do here as a core business. We're trying to replicate what we've done here at HQ and replicate them in the different jurisdictions because we feel they're our strengths. And so, and we also think there's an opportunity there because the crown dependencies in themselves are quite different, but the markets, i.e. the opportunity set, is very similar. So it's more about identifying the differences of who the people are and why they're living there, as opposed to, and also, here's a big market in Guernsey for captives. Jersey's not such a big market for captives. Likewise, in the Isle of Man, it's got a big insurance base, life insurance base, and business activities. And so we need to identify, and we have identified, the sort of market sectors that we can go and sort of speak to and try and attract as new clients.
And in terms of the way you're constructing portfolios, I mean, the heritage of the firm as a stockbroker, do you go with a portfolio of direct stocks and bonds alongside funds, or what's the sort of house style for management?
So we are founded from a stockbroking background. I think in reality, we can, it depends on the client. It depends on the client. So if it's a client with a small sum of money, we can accommodate via unitized collective, sort of a fund option. We then have a model portfolio service like anyone else in the market within the DFM space, but we can also offer a blended option of collective seg mandate, but also direct bond and equities as a mixture as well. We tend to think that can help reduce the overall cost for the client, and also some clients really want to have direct exposure to Amazon, or
they like owning certain stocks,
Disney, or Tesla, or whatever it might be on our sort of approved list, and we'll speak to the clients about how we manage those exposures within the risk budgets that they've afforded us.
And just looking out some of the markets you're dealing with, we were chatting earlier about having clients in different parts of the world. Where is it that you see that's most interesting for the advisors you work with and the end clients that you're looking after themselves? Yeah,
so I think, as we touched on before, our core markets are the crown dependencies and a small section of the UK. The UK is really overbroked, and it's been a sort of run to the bottom on pricing models. So we want to be in the UK and we want to look after our clients there, but I think we're concentrating on our growth markets within the offshore space. Here, Guernsey, Jersey and the Isle of Man, and that's really going to be where we feel we're going to get growth from. That being said, the Might and Optimal business has always done business further afield in the international markets as opposed to Ravenscroft, who have sort of been a household name here in the Channel Islands and have done exceptionally well with that. Now, obviously, there's only so many people here in Guernsey and Jersey, and therefore I think they're now looking to, or we are looking to expand our exposure and diversify our client base by rifle shooting a couple of jurisdictions that we feel are areas that we not only can get exposure to, but we also understand the market. So the core of our business here is, we really do value talking to our clients and that added level of service, especially during the turbulent times that we find ourselves in today, and we have done over the last couple of years with the pandemic and a war earlier this year. One of the great things when we were talking to Ravenscroft during the acquisition, and we could identify it, is that they really do care about their clients, and they really do communicate constantly, especially during times of market stress, instead of sort of hiding behind their desks and sort of stepping away from that client dialogue. In times of difficulty, the client dialogue and putting your arms around people and making sure they're reassured, to make sure that they understand that we have got a handle on things and are doing the right things for our clients is very important.
That's where you forge your trust, isn't it, for the long-term relationship?
Yeah.
And we're all coming out now of the pandemic, traveling a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of your kind of business-to-business sales and relationships with other intermediaries, I mean, how important do you find it is getting out there, pressing the flesh, traveling a bit, finding out what's happening?
It is imperative.
Yeah.
Just doing this, you can never get a sense of someone unless you see the whites of their eyes. And I think that feels the same for clients and intermediaries. And also, we're a multi-jurisdictional business. So to get from Guernsey to Jersey, the Isle of Man, and different areas that we have exposures to, it is imperative. And long may that last, because I think it really is. We're a people's business. We're a service business, and people want to feel and look and understand the business. And from Zoom and WhatsApp calls and Teams meetings are all very good and well and served a purpose during the pandemic. And the adoption of those mediums is not going to go away. That's accelerated. But face to face and building relationships and trust and getting to know one another, especially in a business like ours where we are being afforded the trust of someone's a family wealth capital or whatever it might be, is in my personal opinion and our business opinion an absolute. Yeah.
And I imagine your intermediary relationships go back a long way. I mean, within the industry, there's corporate, there's a take acquisition of a business. Yeah. One day you're somewhere, one day you're somewhere else. But it's a case of striking that rapport and trust, isn't it, with the intermediary community that's so important. Those relationships take a long time to build, don't they?
They do. So, you can't just roll into a jurisdiction and expect to gain exposure and build assets. It takes time, it takes effort, and more importantly, it takes commitment. That's what people want to see. That's what jurisdictional people in those jurisdictions want to see. And they want to see an investment into that jurisdiction, I find, as well. So people spending time, people spending money, and really building those trusted relationships. Because there will be a problem at some point in the future, whether it's down to what we've done or just a market event. That's when the trust really is counted on, and you can phone the person up or you can ask to have a meeting, and that's when those relationships really are invaluable.
Brilliant. Well, Simon, great to talk to you today. I look forward to sharing this with our members.
Thanks, David.